What if women are giving you a secret signal of attraction and you're missing it every single day? Imagine this. You're talking to a woman. She's smiling, laughing at your jokes, and seems engaged. But later she becomes distant or doesn't respond to your messages. You're left confused, wondering what went wrong. Here's the truth. Women often communicate attraction in subtle ways. They might not say it directly, but their actions, body language, and responses carry hidden messages. If you're not paying attention, you might miss these signals. One common signal is mirroring. When a woman is attracted to you, she might unconsciously mimic your gestures, speech patterns, or posture. It's her way of building a connection without saying it outright. Another signal is proximity. If she finds reasons to be near you, even in group settings, it's a sign she's interested. She might not initiate conversation, but her presence is intentional. But here's where many men go wrong. They become overly eager. They start chasing, over-texting, or seeking constant validation. This behavior can overwhelm her and push her away. Instead, practice detachment. Focus on your own life, goals, and passions. When you're centered and confident, you naturally become more attractive. Women are drawn to men who are self-assured and not seeking approval. Remember, attraction isn't always loud. It's often quiet, subtle, and hidden in plain sight. By staying present, observant, and grounded, you'll start to notice these secret signals and respond with calm confidence. Why chasing her breaks the attraction, and what to do instead. What if the more you try to win her over, the more you actually push her away? Let's talk about what most guys are taught to do when they like a woman. They're told to chase her, call her often, buy her gifts, give her compliments every day, try to prove that they're the one. But here's the problem. Chasing makes her feel like the prize, and you feel like a follower. Women don't fall for the man who bends over backwards to be liked. They fall for the man who knows his worth. The man who doesn't need to prove anything because he's already full inside. Think of it like this. Imagine someone keeps trying to sell you something over and over. Even if you were slightly interested, their pushing makes you lose that interest. That's what chasing does. It makes her feel like you're trying too hard, and that makes her pull away. Now, instead of chasing, try this. Step back and focus on your own path. Work on your purpose. Do things that make you feel alive. Hit the gym. Build something. Read. Grow. When you do this, something powerful happens. You stop needing her to feel complete. And guess what? That's when she starts to notice you differently. Your silence becomes louder than words. Your distance makes her wonder what you're up to. That's when attraction builds. Because you're not trying to get her, you're focused on becoming more of yourself. Detachment is not being cold. It's being complete. You're not walking away. Why silence can speak louder than words? What if your silence makes her think about you more than your words ever could? Let's look at something most men don't realize. Creating space is not a weakness, it's power. When you give her space, something amazing happens. She finally has time to feel your absence. And that absence, it creates curiosity. That curiosity grows into desire. You might think, if I don't message her or check in, she'll forget about me. But here's what really happens. When a man pulls away to focus on himself, it actually draws her in, if there was real interest to begin with. You see, most guys stay too close. They're always texting, always checking in, always showing up. They never give her time to miss them. And without that space, there's no chance for mystery, no chance for desire to build. Think about your favorite movie. If you watched it over and over every day, it would lose its magic. You get bored, even if it was once your favorite. The same thing happens in attraction. Too much closeness kills excitement. When you step away, when you create silence, she starts to think about you. She starts wondering what you're doing, who you're with, and most importantly, why you're not chasing like the others. That's when the secret signal shows up. A message, a sudden like on your photo, a "Hey stranger" out of nowhere. That's not random. That's her emotional chase mode starting. But here's the key. You didn't beg for it. You didn't chase it. You lived your life, and that made her feel your value. Never fear silence. If there's attraction, space is what allows it to grow. Why she's drawn to the man who isn't focused on her. What if ignoring her isn't the answer, but focusing on your purpose is? Here's something powerful that most guys miss. Women are not attracted to men who make them the center of their world. At first, it may seem sweet. He gives her all his time, all his energy, all his attention. But soon, she starts to feel something different. Boredom, pressure, even guilt. Why? Because a woman doesn't want to be your purpose. She wants to witness your purpose. She wants to feel like she's joining a man who is already building something powerful. A man who wakes up with a mission. A man who has dreams bigger than just getting her attention. When a man makes a woman his everything, he loses himself. He becomes predictable. He becomes needy. And worst of all, he stops being the man she was originally drawn to. But when a man is focused on his work, his growth, his health, his goals, something changes. He doesn't have to prove himself. His life already has meaning. And that energy, that quiet confidence, it pulls her in without him even trying. She watches him from a distance. She sees how steady he is, how he moves forward, with or without her. And deep inside, something switches. She starts wanting to be part of his journey, not his destination. That's when the subtle signals begin. She checks your stories. She asks curious questions. She starts showing up more. You didn't ask for it. You didn't beg for it. You simply lived with purpose, and it sent a powerful message. A man on a mission is always more attractive than a man on a leash. Why being rare makes you desired? What if the reason she's ignoring you is because you're always available? Let's talk about something most men never learn. Scarcity. Not in a fake or forced way, not pretending to be busy, but in a real way, where your life is so full, you naturally don't have time to always be there. Here's the truth. People value what's rare, and that includes you. When you're always available, always replying fast, always saying yes, you stop being exciting. You become expected. You become part of the background. She stops wondering about you. She stops thinking about you. She knows exactly where you are, and that kills the mystery. But when you live a life where you're not always around, something amazing happens. She starts wondering. She starts imagining. She starts asking herself, what is he doing? Who is he with? Why hasn't he reached out? That's not manipulation. That's just what happens when your life is full of purpose and you don't give your time away to everyone. Scarcity doesn't mean being cold. It means being valuable. You don't see gold lying around on the sidewalk. You don't see diamonds in every drawer. What's rare becomes special, and what's always around becomes ignored. So when you're not always available, when your attention is limited, it sends a signal. My time is important. My energy is not cheap. And that signal makes her see you differently. Suddenly, you're not the guy who's chasing. You're the guy she's thinking about. And that's when she starts showing hidden attraction. She becomes more playful. She tries to get your attention. She leans in more. All because you chose to protect your time. So here's the secret. The less you offer it, the more they want it. Why she tests you and why your calmness wins every time. Have you ever wondered why she suddenly acts cold after she was just warm with you? One moment she's laughing at your jokes, sending long texts, asking how your day was. Then suddenly she pulls back. She goes quiet. She gives you short answers. You're confused. You wonder, what did I do wrong? But here's the twist. You probably didn't do anything wrong at all. This isn't rejection. This is a test. Women sometimes test a man without even knowing they're doing it. It's like their heart wants to know, is this man strong? Or will he fall apart the moment things get tough? And that's where your calmness becomes power. If you chase, panic, or try to fix everything right away, she'll see that you're controlled by her behavior. That makes her feel unsafe, because she doesn't want a man who reacts like a boy. She wants a man who stands like a mountain. But when you remain calm, when you stay centered, when you don't let her coldness shake your peace, she feels something powerful. She sees strength. She sees a man who is in charge of himself. She sees that you don't need her mood to tell you who you are. And that's deeply attractive. Emotional mastery is not pretending you feel nothing. It's feeling everything, but choosing your response, not overreacting, not proving, not chasing, just holding steady. That's when she begins to trust you more. That's when her coldness starts to melt. Because calmness in a storm is rare, and women are drawn to rare. So the next time she acts distant, don't chase, don't panic. Hold the line, breathe, let her come to you. Because when you pass her test without even playing it, she starts seeing you as more than just another guy. She sees you as the man she didn't know she was waiting for. Why she watches. How you treat yourself, even when you're alone. What if I told you she's watching, even when you think she's not? Not just watching what you say, but watching how you live, how you treat yourself, how you carry yourself when no one else is around. Here's a secret most men miss. A woman learns how to treat you based on how you treat yourself. If you don't respect your own time, she won't either. If you break your own rules, she'll feel like she can too. If you chase her like she's the prize, she'll believe you're not. Women are not just attracted to your words, they're drawn to your patterns. If you have purpose, she notices. If you set boundaries, she feels it. If you say no without guilt, she quietly admires you. Why? Because it shows strength, and strength is attractive. This isn't about being cold or arrogant. It's about valuing yourself enough to live by your own code. That kind of self-respect speaks louder than any pickup line. Here's something wild. She'll test your value, not just by what you give her, but by what you refuse to give up for her. If you skip the gym, stop your goals, or pause your progress just to please her, she won't feel honored. She'll feel uneasy. Because deep down, she wants a man who stands on solid ground. A man who is committed to his mission, even when love comes knocking. That doesn't push her away, but invites her into something bigger. So ask yourself, how are you showing her what you believe about yourself? Because before she falls for you, she wants to see if you've already chosen you. The silent power of walking away with peace. Here's a strange truth. What makes her chase you isn't your charm. It's your calm. Not the calm where you stay quiet to avoid conflicts. Not the fake calm that hides anger or fear. I'm talking about real calm. The kind that comes from knowing you can walk away and still be okay. That kind of calm is rare, and that's what makes it powerful. Most guys panic when a girl pulls back. They text more, they try harder. They think, if I just do a little more, maybe she'll come back. But the man who can step back without begging, who can let her be distant without forcing a fix, who can stay grounded while everything feels unsure, that man becomes unforgettable. Because that man is free. He doesn't need her to feel whole. He doesn't chase. He chooses. That kind of man doesn't argue for attention. He lets silence speak. And in that silence, something magical happens. She feels the shift. She feels your strength. She wonders if she lost something valuable. You see, the ability to walk away is not about being cold. It's about knowing your worth. It's about loving yourself enough to not beg for love in return. You don't have to say a dramatic goodbye. You don't need to punish her with silence. You just keep moving forward with peace, with dignity, with purpose. Because when a woman sees that you can live without her, but still choose her, that's when she truly sees your value. And sometimes, the loudest signal of all is the quiet strength of letting go. When her eyes say more than her words. Here's a strange secret. Most men listen to what women say, but the smart ones watch what women do. You might hear her say things like, "I'm not sure what I want," or "We're just friends," or even, "I'm busy right now." But look closer. She glances at you when she thinks you're not watching. She stands closer than needed when she talks. She laughs a little harder at your jokes, even the bad ones. She remembers small things you told her weeks ago. These are the real signals, quiet signs, hidden clues. Women are not always direct about attraction. Why? Because they want you to notice without being told. They want you to sense it, to read between the lines. But here's the twist. If you're too eager, if you're always chasing, if you're always around, you'll miss those signs. Why? Because she has no space to send them. When you slow down, stay grounded, and move with calm, not need, you start to notice more. Her tone changes when she talks to you. Her body leans in just slightly when you speak. She teases you with a little smile, then looks away. That's not by accident. That's attraction, hiding in plain sight. It's not in her words, it's in the energy. You don't need to push. You don't need to chase. You just need to be present, calm, and strong enough to see what others miss. Because the real signals of interest, they're soft, subtle, and silent. What to say when you finally see the signal? So, what do you do when you finally notice her silent signal? Do you say something clever? Do you chase her now? Number, you stay calm. Here's the truth most men miss. The moment she shows attraction is the moment you should slow down even more. Why? Because now she's curious. She's wondering what you'll do. Most men mess up at this point. They panic, they rush in, they try to lock it down, but not you. You let it breathe. You smile, but don't overtalk. You look into her eyes, but don't stare too long. You reply with calm energy, not need. Say something like, "That's interesting," or "I noticed that too." You match her energy, but never overtake it. This is how you keep the fire growing. Because when she feels that you saw her signal, but didn't act needy, she gets pulled in deeper. She wonders, why didn't he chase? Why is he so sure of himself? That's what triggers her emotional chase. She begins to text more. She starts asking where you are. She brings up your name to friends. Not because you begged for it, but because you earned it by staying in your center. Remember, the goal is not to get her. The goal is to be a man who doesn't lose himself when he's seen. When a woman sends the signal, she's opening a door, not giving you everything. How you respond shows who you are. Do you rush in, or do you stand tall and let her walk toward you? When you master this, you don't just attract her. You keep your peace, your power, and your freedom. That's the real win. And now you know the signal most men miss every single day.